Welcome to Meisum, and thanks so much, John, sir, for this Meisum.
No, you're most welcome, and you're always welcome.
And
It's good that I'm also talking to you now.
you have now put up this Christmas tree, and it's just so lovely.
No, Christmas season is always a special occasion for everybody, Christians at least.
So today, the reason why we're here is because I want to talk about the story of your father. The book you have already released. This was
2020.
yeah. So this was a limited edition. Not many people got the copy. It was 1,000 copy.
1,000
copies. Yeah. I had the privilege of getting this copy because through Aran I got this copy. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he did a good job having it printed, and he did that, most of the get up, everything for the cover and everything he did it. But this is I found it difficult to write because we don't have any records. It's only later on that we were able to get and trace some of the papers that he had, especially when it was the Tawang related thing. From that time onwards, but then we are already grown up also. So we were keeping track through contacts with different people and others. So I was able to write. Otherwise, his earlier life and other things is very difficult. We just couldn't. Whatever he had noted down and whatever he had told us, those only are what have been brought out in this book. This is a coffee table book, and it's not a biography, which I've mentioned.
Yes.
It is not a biography because biography is much more elaborate and is very thick and all this. And if had I written a biography, I think I would still be writing it because there would be no end to what could have been written.
Yes, exactly. I have told you earlier, for me, there are a few people that I would have really liked to meet in person. One is for sure your father. And then I have mentioned our Swissa would be one person that I would really love to meet. But today I have the privilege of meeting you. And we'll start with like his early life, even though you have mentioned in the book, as I said, many people couldn't get the book. So early life, you have mentioned about his education in Kohima. But in those days, getting a quality education was difficult. But how he really struggled and then getting the highest level of education. So we'll start with that one, and then slowly we go into the other parts of his story.
Okay, I'll start off then. He was born in Ukhrul, 28th of February, 1912. His father was Ralengnao, who was a teacher in Ukhrul, the school there, at that point of time. And his mother was Meisum. She was from Langtang, which is not very far from Ukhrul. Through them, my father was born, and he had an elder brother, Ngalanjar. He also happened to be the first person from amongst our tribals to become a compounder. So he became the first compounder in Ukhrul for the Ukhrul dispensary also. He has been there throughout. So this is the family from which he came. In a small little village that time, Ukhrul, but that's where. Then till class 5, my father studied in Ukhrul, the mission school only, and the studies for him was something which he really was very keen. He was very interested in studies, so he did very well in his studies. But till 5 he was there. After 5, he was sent to Kangpopi, again there to the mission school there, and that's 5 and 6 he had to complete there because that ME level was coming from Kangpopi. So during those days, he was very, very sad that he had to leave Ukhrul because Kangpopi is totally new to him. Yeah. And it's the first time that he ever left his own hometown. So no friends. So he had to make new friends. In those days, in the school, there were just about 5, 6 of them, Kangpopi and Tangkhuls, all of them. And he found it he used to get homesick very often, but he stuck to it. He didn't want to do anything about it. He continued staying there. And the life that he had there was tough, but he enjoyed it because as a hosteler there, he was getting scholarship because as a bright student, I said, so he was getting scholarship, so he was getting some stipend from the government. It was about 3 rupees a month that he was getting. But they didn't have any messing system. So messing system also, all the boys had to break up into groups, 2, 3 of them together, and do their own messing and everything. So he had a senior friend But class-wise, that he had not reached class 5 also. But he was from Somnol. His name was Chiri. So they were together. They used to be staying together, stayed together, cooked together, and buying things also. They had to used to go out together. Most of the time they used to get from Kangpopi side, proper from the town area. Like rice and all this, had to buy in. Those days it was all in shares, not kilos and all this, but shares. So they used to go because from the local market, it was very, very costly. They couldn't afford it. So they used to go and buy the paddy in tins. Instead of getting the rice, they used to get a paddy. So going there about 10 kilometers away, coming time, Chiri being a more stronger person, he used to carry the paddy with him to the hostel. And my father used to be the one who used to thresh it, pound it to make it into rice. So that's how the thing. The vegetables and all is no problem because in that area they all had their own kitchen garden. So they had all the vegetables and all they were able to get from there. So it was interesting. They liked it. And work-wise, they had the system, in those days they had a system of workmanship. All the students had to work 3 hours in a day. And for every hour that they worked, they used to get paid. So he was quite okay with that. But since he was getting his scholarship, he was not getting the full payment of this workmanship fees. And he was told to work only for 1 hour. Instead of 3 hours, he was allowed to work only for 1 hour. The others used to work 3 hours and get the regular fees. He was only 1 hour because he was getting scholarship. But even with that scholarship, with the 1 hour work, he was still getting more than all the others together. Because that made about three rupees in those days was very, very high. So from there, he still felt sad that he had to leave because the ME school was over. The next year he had to go to Kohima High School. So he joined in class 7. And there also he was in a hostel where messing was involved. I mean, they had a messing system with cook and everything, so he was more relaxed. Work hours also was there, but only for 2 hours. So he had plenty of time to play and to study. He had plenty of time for all that. And he used to enjoy. The only thing again, he was far off from home. So again, it used to be quite difficult for him. But he enjoyed himself. And like in Kangpopi, what I forgot to mention, when he was homesick for Ukhrul, one day he took his friends, 2 friends with him. They climbed up to, there's a hill nearby. In Kangpopi, there's a hill, Gobru Hill.
Yeah, Kobru Hill.
So they climbed up that side. It's very tough climbing up that hill, shrubs and everything. But finally they reached. They thought it never end, but they reached. And from that point, they could see Siroi. So Ukhrul was just there also. So just seeing that point was they were so thrilled to see that. They used to be happy. But coming time, they got late. They came back late. They missed the road call, and they got punished for that. And that, of course, he remembers.
Okay.
In Kohima also, saying that the best part of it is the trek that they took to Jaffu Peak.
Yeah.
Had gone. They went, but that they found a very steep climb. They had gone prepared with his friends. They had all gone together. They packed rice, to cook rice that made in early morning. They packed it to be eaten on top of the hill. As they climbed, they found it very cold, and it was never ending. But finally, when they reached there, all the tiredness, the fatigue, all disappeared because beautiful scenery from that point.
Yes.
They could see around everywhere. So they enjoyed themselves thoroughly, and coming down is easier for them because they used to run down, straight downhill. So it was running down the hill, and they were able to reach the hostel in time. But then, when he had to go for class 8, he was sent off to Shillong because the SDO Ukhrul, Mr. L.L. Peters, who was the SDO, he said, no, you go to Shillong now, Government High School in Shillong, you go there. Don't worry about your stipend and everything, the scholarship will keep coming to you. Because like I said, he was a good student, that's why they realized that he could do something. So they sent him to Shillong. So he went there. Class 8 he did. For class 9 when he was going, they said, no, you will not get stipend, you will not get scholarship. Because for that you've got to come back to Imphal, join the Johnston High School. Then only you can get your scholarship. So Shillong itself, he had met so many friends there. And he enjoyed his stay there. But because of this problem. And there were quite a few Naga students that also at that point of time in Shillong. Young, all of them. In fact, Tangkhuls, there were three Tangkhuls. That's 1928 when he was there. So we have a photo. AZ Fizo was there at that time. So he's then the photo. They're all together in the same together. So that photo. But then he had to leave. Everybody he had to leave, all the friends, everybody, he had to go back to join Imphal. So at Imphal, he joined there for up to his matriculation, he did from there. But throughout his career, he was a very good sportsman also. Besides studies, he was also a very good sportsman. He loved football. Football was his favorite game. So in fact, he was a part of the Ukhrul football team. So when he was in Johnston, one time when Ukhrul had a very important match to play against another team, they sent word to him that, hey, you've got to come. Come immediately to Ukhrul. You've got to play in this game also. So he said, okay, fine, no problem. So from Imphal to Ukhrul, he started walking, running, trekking, all the way to Ukhrul, reached there, whatever, got a rest for whatever it is, and played the game. After that, he came back. That's a different issue. But from there, during that period itself, he had already had that urge, that yearning to do something for the students, because he realized that the students, development for the students was so important. They had to concentrate properly on the studies. A youth who already there, he himself was a youth, but he said, no, they've got to come up properly. So he had this idea, conceived the idea of forming the Tangkhul Students' Union, which he formed in 1932, which in later years became the TKS, Tangkhul Katamnao Saknao.
Yeah.
So he formed it in 1932. But that's all in the interest and for the welfare of the students that he did all this. From there, he went to Cotton College. He came to Cotton College here in Guwahati to study his degree, BA.
Before we go to Cotton College, just wanted to ask you, from his classmate in Kangpokpi, was there any of his classmate or his friend who was as successful as your father?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think so.
So he moved to Cotton for his PE program.
Well, what Shillong side, of course, late Izzat Fizo was there. Then there was one reverend from Nagaland, Kijung. He was a very good in machine work. He was famous. Then somebody had got into Nagaland police also.
Okay.
One Mr. Marbendang. He had gone to Nagaland police also. And the others, I'm not very sure. Oh, there's Soso Tham. There was one Tham.
Okay.
He's from Shillong, of course. Oh, no, he was not a student, he was a teacher. That side. Others, I'm not very sure because all mixed. There were some Angamis there. I said there were some three Tangkhuls also. But we tried to locate these Tangkhuls, but we didn't because the names were not coming fully. They just said Tangkhul, no? So Tangkhul is such a vague name. So it's very difficult to identify who the person is. We tried to find out, but we couldn't find them.
So during his school days, financial support was already there from the scholarship?
Scholarship, yes. Yeah. But parents and his elder brother were always there to help him and support him. In fact, in Kangpokpi, when he was there, his fees were taken care of by the scholarship, but his parents also used to at times send money to him. Scholarship money that came, he got about 23 rupees for holding to buy books and other things. That he didn't spend at all. He didn't spend at all because he was getting free. Textbooks and other things he was getting free. And clothes and all this he didn't have to use because he had more than enough. He had shorts and a genji and a shawl. That is more than enough for those days for him. So he was satisfied that. One of his headmasters later towards the end was M.K. Shimri. So he was the thing, but the missionary in charge was William Pettigrew. So the money the scholarship money that came was kept by William Pettigrew, 23 rupees. He kept it with him because he kept it purposely so that when he goes back home for the holidays.
So that was a saving for him.
So that came as a big surprise to my father. So that just before leaving, Reverend Pettigrew called him. So he got so scared, he said, no, why is he calling me for this? What for? Then he was so shocked when he got the 23 rupees, though. And he was told that there's a thing, but he said, this is being kept for you for your journey back home. But when he went back up with everything that he had, he was able to, this was not during the final time, earlier time when trip that he had gone, because he went through Imphal, bought things for the family back home from his savings. The final time when he had to go, they went walking all the way from Kohima to Ukhrul, walking, because lorries were available, but lorry thing was very costly. They could not afford. Normally it would have been 1 rupee 8 annas. That's a normal cost. But when they asked the lorry for that, he said not less than 1 rupee 14 annas. So that he said was out of question. So they decided to walk, and they took 2 days to reach Ukhrul from there.
So regarding his studies in Cotton College for his PE program. What was the thing that he talked most about?
No, he didn't talk much because again here he came here on scholarship as usual, and he did concentrate in his studies earlier. He was staying in LM hostel, but he got involved with the student Christian movement. Very, very involved with his games, football. In college, he was the sports secretary. And he was the monitor in LM hostel also. So with all these activities that were on, his studies went a bit off, so he couldn't do much. So when his final exams came in 1936, BA exams, he failed. He did not pass. So that came as a big shock to him. He said, "What is this now?" Then he said, "No, I'm going to continue staying in Guwahati. I'll do it again next year. I'll study." Fortunately for him, in Mangaltai area, the missionary in charge was one V.H. Sword. He was the missionary. So he came to know about Daddy. So he offered him a teaching assignment in Harisanga in Mogalai area. So teach in a ME school there. So Daddy immediately took the option because at least he had a chance now to earn something and to go. He went, started teaching there. At the same time, he left plenty of time to do his own studies for his exam. 1937, he appeared for exams, cleared it. After that, he went back to Harisanga because they called him back. They said, "No, you come back again." So he went there, started teaching there, and he became a headmaster there also in that school.
So that was the first time he became the headmaster. I thought the Ukrul one was the
He was headmaster there also, first time.
Okay.
Just, in fact, when he was studying itself, he was teaching.
Yes.
But later on again, after clearing his BA, he went back and became the headmaster. Then, but in 1938, Ukrul called him. They said, "No, you come back here. Please come back to be the headmaster of the ME school there." So since he had been a scholarship holder and done so much for him, so he just couldn't say no. So he took over there. So he was there for 1938, 39, 40, 41. 40, that time SDO was S.J. Duncan. Mr. Duncan became very close to Daddy and took him as his own son type. Mr. Duncan, in fact, is my godfather. He's my godfather. I call him grandpa also. But in 1941 and 39, when the war was declared, Second World War, that time Daddy had heard about it, so he had written to the political agent. That time when Mr. Jimson was there, the political agent. The same Jimson that we have here, the same name, Jimson. So he told him, he said, "Look, if you're going to take this recruitment for the war, I'm volunteering." Because he remembered that during the First World War, a lot of people have been taken, requisitioned for the labor corps. So he thought that he'll let him do something also. He decided. So he gave his name. And he forgot about it. So 39, 40, 41, Mr. Duncan called him to his office. So he went. When he went there, he gave him a form. Because the political agent had given this thing to Mr. Duncan to give it to Daddy to fill up. This is the form for the army.
So,
officer.
as you say, he filled up the form for the service, but did he say what was the exact reason why he desired to be in the service for that World War II?
To join to, he said, like all of my people earlier had gone to the war. He didn't want to be left out. I'll put it that. He didn't want to be left out. He said, if they had gone, done something for us, why should I not also volunteer and do it? His was not for self-interest. It was only for general interest. So he forgot about it. So when he was put up, he signed it, and it was given back to SDO. SDO forwarded it to the political agent. And after processing everything, he was selected. So he had 4 interviews then. One was in Imphal, one was in Shillong, one was at Calcutta, and the federal interview was in Shimla. All 4 interviews he got through. And he was taken, selected, and told to join as a second lieutenant in the army. He was given the 19th Hyderabad Regiment, which he joined. He was told to report to the training center in Mau, in Madhya Pradesh. So he joined there. Then he went to the regimental center in Agra as a second lieutenant. His commanding officer was at that time Major K.S. Themaya, who later became the chief of the army staff. He joined, worked for a few months. Then Major Themaya called him. He showed him the telegram which had come from the GHQ, telling him to go and report to GR Force in Jarhat. Because by that time, actually, the Japanese had already overrun Burma. and they were entering Manipur. So a lot of refugees were coming into Manipur also. So knowing that Daddy was from that area, the army forced him to decide and told him to go there. So he went there and he was told to join the V Force. So that's where he joined the V Force. In Jorhat, it was Colonel Wright was in charge of the V Force, and he was told to report to Major Murray in Imphal. That he was in the 4th Assam Rifles,
Okay.
but he was looking after the Manipur sector of the V Force. He became a lieutenant colonel of the V Force in charge of the whole area of Manipur side, and Daddy joined there. And then he was given his allotment, what his briefing, what is required to be done. He took it all, but he was told that he had to do, because V Force was guerrilla warfare plus information intelligence unit that had to work to get intelligence on the movement of the enemy and to delay all their movements by whatever means. I mean, by attacking them or attacking them in certain areas and all this, and delaying their movements. But feeding back, they had to send back the information to the higher formation. So that he did, but he was told to go to the border areas to recruit. So he went up to Manipur, all the border areas. So he started from Bunpa. From there he started. But amongst the Tangkhuls and all this, right up to Samkul, and he recruited about 5,000 people altogether, volunteers, who are all willing to help. So as runners, as guides, porters, as guerrilla warfare, as whatever it is. But when Sangshak and Ukhrul was attacked and more or less overrun, he was told immediately to go back there, to Ukhrul side. So he had to go back and function again from it. So he contacted all these earlier volunteers who were still around, and they all were very forthcoming. They volunteered straight away, they supported him. They said, no, we'll do whatever is required of us, we'll do. And their network was so fantastic that the Allied forces were in fact, they all praised the V Force in that area. They said without them, we would have been very badly delayed. We would have suffered much more. So he was able to delay the movement of the Japanese up to a certain point. Meantime, Daddy and his own people were inside Burma, totally behind the enemy line, functioning there. And from there, they were doing whatever was required of them. And that's how he got his medals and things there.
He got married during his service in the army.
Yes.
In this
No, not
World War time.
Not that time. Because that time he was busy in the Burma front.
Okay.
After the war, he was posted to Shillong. He was posted to 3rd Assam Regiment. There he was company commander. As a major, he was company commander in Shillong, Assam Regiment. During that time, that's 45. So during the school days, he had already met my mother. Because the government high school, was not very far from where my mother and family were staying. And my grandmother had a bookshop where most of the students used to buy from that shop. So they used to think that, so he just met casually. But in 45, when he was sent back to Shillong on Assam Regiment, and they got married in Shillong in 1945.
So
she was at that time, my mother was a senior teacher in a girls' high school.
So your childhood, you grew up in Shillong?
Initially. Not, as a baby, I was in the Assam Regiment, in the center there, being carried around. Initially means just that 1 year, so 2 years. Because in 1947, Tangkhul elders, the Tangkhul Long, whatever people, then the political agent from Manipur, Maharaj Kawar's family, they all requested him to leave the army, quit the army.
So I wanted to come to that part. He resigned from the army and then joined the Manipur State Field Commission.
Yeah. So during that time, that's 47, he went and joined. So 47 to 49.
So that was a request from the Maharaja?
Maharaja and the elders, hill people.
Okay.
They all came forward. They said, no, you must come and help in setting up. Because Manipur at that time was undergoing a process towards democracy. So they said, no, you must come and help us in this thing. If you forget the army, leave. So the elders, also, they had a big say in many things. No, so he honored them.
So he had a personal relationship with the Raja's family during his service in the
army? In a way with the Raja's brother. He was in the army, captain. He was a captain, Priya Bhatta Singh, PB Singh, who during the interim government became the chief minister. So as chief minister, he wanted him to come and join his ministry. So that's where he went. And throughout his life, they became very thick friends, whom we, from our side, to our family, we call him uncle. And daddy were thick, the thickest of friends. I'll just put it that way, very close.
But the his service in the Manipur State Hill Commission was for quite a short period of time.
That's right, 47, he was there
Yeah.
as Minister Hills. In 48, for the first time, elections were held in Manipur. So that time he wanted to quit. He said, okay, good,
Okay.
finish, go.
Okay.
But then elders and everybody came back to him and said, no, you can't leave us now. You've got to remain. You come and stand for election, we'll take you from the Tora Hills constituency, we'll take you. He said, no, from that angle, I'm not going to take it. I'll go to a constituency which is general. So he stood from Sada Hills, he stood, which is a mixed community. Not just a Tangkol, but a mixed one. So from there he won by a thumping majority. So the Praja something party, they got it that Uncle PB was the thing. They got through, they formed a government with the help of the Hill MLAs. They formed a government and he was again taken back as a minister, cabinet minister, Hills and Manipur Rifles. That's where he was in charge. So 49, Manipur became part of India, part of the Union of India. So that's when the ministry was dissolved. So he was out of job. For 6 months, no job.
Okay. And then he rejoined the army again.
No,
in 50.
Then, in fact, when that took place, the government of India told him to remain in Manipur and be one of the advisors or one of the secretaries there to take charge. He said, no, I'm not going to be here as advisor or anything of that sort. He left. So for 6 months, and that is the time when he had already seen this, a present location in Mantripukri, Nepal, a house where he finally selected. He had selected that place and he waited for the council to give the permission for him to own that place, for him to build a house. So when the permission came, he immediately started building that house, built the road, everything also leading to that place, and stayed there for 6 months. That is 49 till around April, May of 1950. In May 1950, the government of India, through the governor of Assam, Jairam Das Malhotra, instructed my father to join the 2nd Battalion Assam Rifles as the assistant commandant, to be posted at Sadia. So he reported there.
And then came in 51, the Tawang.
Before that, again, towards the end of July, he had gone on a recce with half platoon of the command regiment, 1 battalion, with another major, and another captain from the intelligence bureau. They were taking a trek up to recce the boundary, international boundary, India and Tibet, on that side. I mean, Lohit River way to go up. On that road, while they were going up, the earthquake of 1950 took place, 15th August. So they got stuck. They were hit very badly. The hills around them was totally collapsed. In fact, he had also fallen, but luckily he was saved. God was with him. So that is one thing which I've mentioned here right in the beginning, is that he did what he did because of what his own feelings and thing, but he never lost his faith in the Lord, in God, and in Jesus Christ. He had his full faith in him. Everything he did was in their name. So that's how he lived his life.
Was it because that faith was strong because he was sponsored or he was brought up in that mission environment?
Not really, maybe, but the family itself, his father, his brother, they were brought up in that way, very strict that way.
Okay.
The elder brother also was very strict, very nice person. I met him also, at least I was able to. My grandfather I never met, my father's father I never met. By that time, during the war itself, he died because of his exploits in Burma. The Japanese were after all the family members.
Oh, okay.
Like it's happening everywhere else. No? Nowadays also same thing happens. So they were after him. So he suffered a lot. So he died during the war. My grandmother, of course, I met. She was with us. I was brought up by her in a certain way when I was small. In fact, during that time, I was able to speak Tangkol, talk Tangkol. Because with her, I could really speak Tangkol. She's a Tangkol, so she only knows Tangkol also. So I was able to talk and converse with her that way. Yeah, a small kid. But then 47 to 49, I was brought up in Imphal.
Okay.
We were staying in Imphal because he was a minister.
So that time you were in which class?
That's 3 years old. No? We were at home only. But then from day one, when we came, then when he left that, we were staying in that Mantripukri in a thatched house, mud house. Then my grandmother, my mother's mother, came to Imphal to see what is going on because no news. So she got worried. She came and she saw the condition that all was well. She fired my mother. What is this? How can you live like this? She said, no, I can't leave. I can't leave this place. She said, oh, okay, don't leave, but I'm taking the children. So, children means only my sister and myself. Next to me is my sister. That is my brother. And then much later, my younger sister. But my younger brother had just been born. He was born in 49 only, so he was just a baby, so he could not be moved. But me and my sister next to me, we were taken off by my grandmother to Shillong. And in Shillong only we were put in the school. And later on, of course, I studied in Shillong only, in regular school, St. Edmunds, throughout 54 to 63. Throughout I did there.
We'll talk more about the establishment of administrative headquarters in Tawang later, but after that, he was confirmed Indian Foreign Frontier Administrative Service, and then there were, yeah.
No, that is much later. That's a much later event because for Tawang, in 1950, I was telling when he joined the Assam regiment, when he was going up, the earthquake took place. Villages were all thinking, Brahmaputra changed course, so many things happened. The battalion headquarters in Sadia was totally collapsed. Political officers, headquarters, bungalows were gone. Even the Assam Rifles outposts that were along the ways, all collapsed. Their own rations were destroyed, their wireless sets were destroyed, so they had no way of communicating with anybody. Lucky for them, nobody got injured, nobody got hurt, nobody died. They got injuries because of boulders, falling boulders and all this, they got hurt, but nobody died. The Mishmi porters that were there, they all ran back to their own villages to see what was happening in their own villages. So only the Jawans, with the officers, were left alone to take care of themselves. So they got stuck for all that time without any communication, telling anybody that they were alive. So they kept walking. They found after some days only, they got into a place known as Hayo Liang, where the Assam Rifles post was still functioning. So at that point, they were able to contact the headquarters of Sadia. That's to say that we're all fine, all okay, but total communication is totally out. It's collapsed. So we're not able to move out from this place. As soon as we're able to, we'll come. So I started trying to repair the roads and all this. After doing a certain point for almost 2 weeks they were able to make a passage through. So my father told his command regiment major and that other captain intelligence, you push off, go off to Sadia headquarters. I'll stay back in my Jawans here because now these villagers, they need help. We are responsible for them. We will take care of them. So he stayed back, did whatever relief and rehabilitation work that had been done for the villagers. And from Haliulang, they were able to contact through the wireless at least, get the airdrops, food supplies and medicines and whatever dropped, not only for their own consumption, but also for the villagers. So he was able to help them out and helping them in making all the thatch, basha type of huts to rehabilitate. Towards the end of September only, they were able to finally move and go back to Sadia. Reported there, and they told us there were changes that had taken place, whatever. But that is end of September. In October, within a short few days after returning, he was told to report to Shillong about the Mishmi, the earthquake that had taken place. So he reported what they had done, what the Jawans and himself had done, and came back. And that was in October.
Still in 50.
50. In December, he was again called to Shillong. This time the governor, Jairam Das Malhotra, that time he called him. And as soon as he met him, the governor asked him, have you heard of a place known as Tawang? And do you know where it is? So to that too, my father said, no, I don't know anything. I don't know anything, I don't know them. I don't know these places. So then the governor explained to him, gave him the briefing and said, this is the situation. Explained that Tawang is in an area which is within India. But till date, India has not been able to administer that place because nobody has gone there. So the Tibetan authorities are looking after that place. They're controlling that area. But cannot be done now. You will have to go and bring it into India because And during that time also the Chinese had gone to Kashmir. Kashmir had been taken over, certain areas, that's it, by the Chinese. So they didn't want that to happen to here, this side. Vallabhbhai Patel, he was the home minister at that time. So they say that he was the one who gave direction to the governor, who in turn gave direction to my father. So it trickled down. At that point, the governor told them, you go, you select your own team, whatever funds you require, whatever equipment you do, whatever thing you require, just ask, you'll be given. I gave him all the details, gave all the maps and everything that had to be done about the Tawang area. So Daddy studied everything, then he said, okay. Then he immediately sent messages to different formations to the people whom he wanted. So he said he chose the 5th Assam Rifle he wanted 200 people. There were 2 platoons from 5th Assam. Then the goods, equipments, clothing and other things, uniforms and other things from Upper Assam. During the Second World War, the army, the American army, that left a lot of things in Upper Assam, all in warehouses, all in.
So they were stationed in which place?
Chadwar. So in Chadwar, when they reported, full training was that with packs and everything, firing practice, everything, and running, trekking, everything, because hill was involved, mountain climbing was involved. He had not known earlier, was he knew that because when he was in Hari Sangha, at that time when he was teaching there, Udalguri was very close, marketing and all this. So he had seen the snow-clad mountains up there. And he had seen these people known as Bhutias. All those people are known as Bhutias. So he knew who the Bhutias were. And seeing their clothes, he realized that these were all from cold climate. So this, from that angle itself, he realized that this is a cold place. So that's why he wanted all warm clothing to be supplied to them when he took his team up. So after full training, on 17 January 1951, they moved out from Chadwar. First they went to Rupa, then to Dirang. Dirangzong, they were there on the 24th of January.
So total 200 move out from there.
Yeah, 200 plus, you can say. Then then you had porters also.
Yeah.
Porters were about 500, 600, because supplies was quite a lot. So in Dirang, they stayed for about a week because all the supplies, he asked for airdropping, all supplies, airdrop. So to fill up to go up there, up in the hills. No? So supplies was very uncertain at that area because they didn't know anything about that area. So they had to have about 500, 600 porters also. So for all of them supplies, so they stocked up, repacked everything for these people to carry, got all their ponies and others also ready to be carried, and moved out from there. 1st February, moved out, crossed Sela Pass on the 3rd of February, reached Tawang on the 6th.
This movement was all on foot.
All on foot. There are no roads. No? And while crossing the Sela Pass, which is almost just 14,000 feet, full of snow for the Jawans, it was the first experience for them to see snow or to even touch snow or to walk on snow. About 20 of them collapsed. Collapsed means they just couldn't. They fainted or whatever. So they had to be carried into ponies, pushed into ponies and to be crossed. But finally on 6th they reached Tawang. So when they reached there, they started immediately trying to check out and see where to stay, where to find a place where they could camp. So that 7 and 8 they remained there, checking out the whole place. And during that time, so people had seen them coming, but nobody came forward to meet them. Nobody. They realized that something was going on, but they didn't want to see. Because in 1938, much earlier, Captain Lightfoot, Britisher, had also gone. He had gone to also try to do something in that area, but he failed. He had to go back. But during that time, the locals had come forward to help. So when he went back, they were left alone. The Tibetans punished them like anything. So they said, no, we don't want to face the same music again. So that's why they didn't come forward. But they informed that the so-called governor, known as Sona Zongpan, who looks after that whole area, he was out of station. He had gone to some places, so he was not in station. So he said, no problem, when he comes back at that time. So 7, 8, they continued drinking, going around. But then they also were, through their own network, they were able to get certain things and they were able to find out, ascertain that the people were still very worried about them. They didn't trust them that much. Then Daddy said, okay, in that case, I'll have to do something. So he immediately told all the Assam Rifles people, gear up, uniform, full full dress, combat dress. So they came full. So that they went out. They came out in the open. And then fixed bayonet also. Tuck, 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 tuck. Sound. That sound was enough for the people not to hear. They were now scared to find all that. Same time they went to full checkers around that whole area. He told some of them to beat the drums also. So they're beating a drum and tack sound of this and shouting out some rifle people. They realize, hey, this is a serious guy, man. He's very serious about what he's doing. So we can't take chance with him. So this is like, then on 8th, sir, he said, on 9th, the next day, which was the year of Vulture, and 3rd day of the year of the Vulture. He said, I'm having a meeting, all of you come, including all the officials, deputy officials that are there. I want to have a meeting with all of them. So on 9th February, he had a meeting in open area. So there he told them, he said, from this day onwards, this whole area from Bumla, that is the border point, from south of that, it's all under the control of the Indian government of India. And no more will the Tibetan government have any say on this. So they cannot pass any orders on any of you. You do not accept anything that they say, and they will not be allowed to try any of the cases. They will not be able to decide any cases that are before them. Everything will be transferred now to the government of India, to me. So you all listen properly, because that is what I'm saying now. And this will be throughout. So you are all under the administrative control of India, government of India. So to confirm what you're saying, he took the flag that was there, Indian flag, planted it on the ground, and said, this is the thing. So from then the people also realized that this is something new. So from that time onwards.
What were some of his strategies to win the confidence of the local community or the
It took time.
local,
It took time, because during that time it's still going on, because like I said, Captain Lightfoot's visit in 1938, that was enough to dampen their spirits. And then they said that these people are coming here just like this, and they'll go back and we'll be in trouble. But he heard about it, so immediately he told his people, search for a proper site. As soon as they located sites, he immediately put up the barracks, Kacha barrack, for some rifle people to stay, to make the headquarters, and also a dispensary. Because along with the team that went from Chadwar, he took one Captain Modera from the Assam Medical Corps, and his orderlies, they also went. So he set up a camp, a military camp, where 12 beds were made, 6 for men and 6 for women. So the medical tent was there also. These also were all made. At the same time, he sent out his patrols all along up to the border, put up all the stations, checkpoints all along the route. Then he declared gangbaras in each village also. So all these he did to ensure that these people realized that he is serious about what he is talking. So they also realized that he's meaning something serious, and he's really coming here to stay. Because had he not done anything, they would have gone off.
But one thing is like, the seriousness is one, but do they also associate with your father better because of his like tribal looks?
Not really. That's not that way. Yeah, in some way maybe it should be, but because the Assam rifles those days also all Gurkha type, no? So they're all looking the same. So that also might be there, but his attitude was totally different. It's straightforward, direct, honest. So they can see. Anybody can see about whether a person is serious or not, or whether he's genuine or not. One can make out. So they realized that this was a genuine person who was come. In fact, after some months, he was able to get certain confidence of this. He was able to win them. But by the end of the year, 1951, the elders, they went in a group to meet him. And straight away they demanded, why are you not collecting tax from us? What do you mean? Why not? The Tibetans were taking tax from us on a regular basis. So much tax they were taking, but you're not taking. That means if you're not taking tax, that means you're going back. No, I don't mean that. What is that to do? Then no, you've got to take tax. They insisted. So finally they decided 5 rupees per annum per house tax, which they volunteered to give. So this is the thing. And once that was done, once the order was given, they were so happy. They said, okay, now we know that we are part of India. That was the confidence that they had done.
So the people were happy that they're part of the...
Very happy. Okay. Very happy.
So one is that because nobody reached out to them for any service, for protection?
No.
So after that one, your father went back to Nepal?
No, he was there till... that's all part of Nepal, no? All part of Nepal.
In a sense, like a political officer in Unsung.
No, because by the time when he went there, he was already assistant political officer, APO of Pasighat, but he was called to do this job. So then he was made the APO of the Sela Sub Agency. In 1952, that is 51 that he went up. In 1952, he was told to be the political officer.
Yeah, 52 years, 52.
Because Major G.T. Allen, he was the political officer that time, Britisher. He was a Britisher, he was MC also. He was the Chadwar at Chadwar. So he was the political officer. So in 52, my father was made the political officer, promoted, and told to be. So he was based in Chadwar. But the other thing that confidence that the people in Tawang got was by his donating 50 bundles of CGI sheets. During the 1950 earthquake, the main monastery, roofing, had totally been shattered, smashed because of the earthquake. So he volunteered and declared 50 bundles of these CGI sheets he was donating. They were so happy, so thrilled. Immediately the villagers all said, no, we'll go down, we'll go and collect. That's 12 days journey, to go to Chadwar, get down to Chadwar and to bring it up again. But they all volunteered for free. He said, for free. So they went. In fact, after they brought it up, this was the first CGI sheeted building in the whole of the area. The whole of the area, not just Tawang. So that is the type of thing that he had done. That's how it
So it took 12 days.
12 days it takes. For them, because they're used to climbing and things.
Yes.
For others, it will take much longer. So, but 12 days, up and down.
For how long he was there in Tawang?
No, Tawang, after that 52, then he went to Chadwar. But Tawang was part of his charge
assignment.
again. Yeah, part of it. But from 52, like I said, that was the time when the government of India told all the headquarters to shift into the Nefa area, into the hills. So he had to shift from Chadwar, he had to move out. It took time to find a place. So he was looking around what is now known as Bomdila, around that area. So all this, Ralengnao, Miji, Rupa, various places around that area. He started Shadupan, different places. He was looking at different places. After 3 weeks, then he came back. Then he told them, I found a place. So they said, where? So he mentioned where. They said, hey, how can you take that place? We can't go there. He said, why? He didn't know because he didn't know that's very cold climate. And it's very high. And it's very dense jungle. It's all correct. Yeah. All correct. He said, no, there's nothing wrong with it. Because when he had selected, he chose that place also, which I mentioned. Is that one day he had gone, for 3 days he disappeared into the jungle. He went looking around. But during his Second World War, he was a guerrilla fighter himself. So he knew how to live in the jungle. So he went. At a certain point, he saw a deer. He started following that deer from behind. Keeping track of the deer, he kept it ahead of him, seeing where it was going. After 2 days, it stopped. It started drinking water. It found water. So he said, then after the deer left, he went to the spot. And he found that this place was beautiful. Plenty of water. He said, this is the site that I'm going to take. Because water is very essential in any place that you think, no? So he said, this is the proper site. So he selected this, and that's how Bomdila came. That's 52. 53, the work was going on. 54, it was ready. The township of Bomdila, whatever could be made, houses and other offices and all this had already come up. So in 28th of February, Chadwar was shifted to Bomdila. Permanent. It took place on 28th February, 54. Within a short time from there, he went up to Unsung, posted to Unsung as political officer.
And this IFAS confirmation?
That's 52 again.
Yeah.
In 1952, 53 in fact.
So that time, where was he?
He was there in town, in Bomdila only. He was confirmed because that has just been formed. He was one of the senior most of the IFAs. And these were all selected, very selectively chosen people. Ex-army, ex-defense mainly, and then from civil service, very selected. Those who had worked amongst the difficult areas.
And then he moved from there to, after that, Unsung. So he moved to Unsung as the
political officer.
The political officer, yes.
That time, Unsung was part of NEFA.
He stayed there till 57.
Yeah.
So your family went there, you stayed there in Unsung?
Yeah.
So your schooling and...
No, Shillong. I was in the boarding. Because Unsung was not a place where you can stay.
So throughout his posting, he was in the posting place and the family remained in Shillong? My
mother was always there. My mother did, and my younger sister, she was normally with them. Because that time she was still small only, so that's no schooling, no nothing.
And fast forward...
during Unsung days, that's where he formed the village guards.
Today it's still there?
He's still there.
It's still there, yeah. I went to Mon, I went to Ralengnao, and then I found that I was really surprised actually, because it was like new to me, and then even till today this village guard system is still there, and then it's still functioning.
No, very much, and very strong.
Yeah, very strong, indeed, indeed very strong.
In fact, in 2012, that is my father's birth centenary, we had a program in Mantripukri, Imphal, in his grave, in his tomb. That time, from Nagaland, they sent the village guards.
So how did he came up with the concept of this village guard?
Because that's why your first question, right in the beginning before we started everything, insurgency was on, militancy,
Yes.
what do you want to call it, fighting between security forces, and this was always on. So he and his officers had a very tough time. I'm answering your question now. They had a very tough time. As civil administrators, they had to balance between the two sides. Their duty was to look after the welfare of the people, to see whatever was possible to help them out. So that they stuck to that. They didn't bother about what was happening this side, that thing. They continued doing what they were. But in '56, in a place known as Pangsha village, heavy fighting took place between the undergrounds and the Pangsha village. It was a village, not security, the village and the underground. So in that incident, the villagers suffered, but the undergrounds also were shocked to find themselves suffering. Many of them were killed also. But from that time onwards, my father had this idea that it's got to be done. He had already had the idea earlier that this type of self-defense group had to be formed, because he had seen that the capacity and capability of our people, of our hill people there. So that idea had always been with him. But when this took place, immediately he put forward to Delhi that we must raise this force, supply them with 12-bore rifles and other things to take care of all this. Immediately they said yes. So that's how in March, Village Defense Force was created, which later became Village Guards.
Yeah, so before we move into the other accomplishment of his, in the book, you have titled it as Unsung Hero. And then one question that I had in my mind was that, was it because like he was in the Indian like military service, and then during that period of time, like the movement was also very strong?
No, nothing of that sort.
Okay.
Because, look, me, who wrote this book, and many others, my friends who know about my father, many of us felt that he was not getting the due thing, that recognition that is due to him. So that's why he's unsung. He's a hero, but unsung. That's why through this coffee table book, I wanted to be public to know something about him. But like you said, 2 little copies was floating around, and like many people ask me, they say, why do you go through Amazon or through what? Like even Aran also studying. I said, very complicated, man. I'll be stuck. I will not know what to do to go about it. But I am going to write a revised edition.
That would be great.
So revised edition again I'll be putting.
Because 1,000 copies is just considering if that is distributed in Ukhrul also, that would be too little copy actually.
Yeah, no,
But that book had gone to, I think, more to the outsiders than our own people
a lot of it has gone to the defense, especially Assam Rifles.
Yes.
A lot of it. In fact, for this museum that was opened the other day, 100 copies they took.
So, before we go into that museum thing and other things,
that is much later, that's the recent.
Yes. According to you, there are so many accolades, so many achievements that he had. But like the Tawang is one for sure there. And then he was awarded Padma Shri, and then he was the Development Commissioner of Sikkim, Chief Secretary Nagaland, Ambassador to Burma. Which one do you think is his key highlights of his career?
No, that way, he never mentioned that way. He never said anything about that. Because wherever he was posted, he did his work. He believed that he had a work to do and he concentrated on that work. But later life, after retirement and everything, he used to talk of his Tawang days. He said, those days were very good. So that means I take it that he really liked Tawang.
Must be one of the most challenging assignments for him.
It was in a way. It was doing something for the first time, bringing something new into the country, no? So it was a challenge. And he always used to talk of Tawang. It was, in 1985 was the last visit that he had. After 5 years later, he went back to Tawang and he told in All India Radio, one thing that is given here, the transcript, he has mentioned also. That, I mean, his love for Tawang is very evident in that transcript of talk that he gave on that. But Padma Shri, he got in 1957 for the bringing Tawang, yes, is one, and also for the earthquake relief work that he did during that time. For these 2 things that he did, he was awarded. And it is the second time that Padma Shris were awarded. Second year of inception.
Oh, okay. Second year of the inception. And then as a development commissioner in Sikkim.
That was much later.
Much later. That was in 62.
62. That's only for a short time. He didn't do much there. In the sense that he tried to do planned and started doing, but only for 4 months. Then the Indo-China War took place. Right? And so immediately he asked for a transfer back to NEFA.
So his longest service is in NEFA?
Yeah, in a way, yes, you can say that way. Because Unsung, even though Unsung is part of Nagaland now, Unsung, but in those days, Unsung was part of NEFA. That means from 1951 to 1957, he was in NEFA. Then again from 1962 to 67, he was in NEFA.
And then 67 to 71,
he was in
Nagaland.
But that is 57 to 60, he was in Nagaland, Mokchung.
Yes.
Again, that was there.
And then, like, he was the chief secretary, Nagaland.
Nagaland, during that 67 to 71.
And then from
But-
then on, he became the
Ambassador, yeah.
ambassador to Burma.
No, but talking about this, like in Nagaland, let me go say Nagaland, Kohima. He was instrumental in setting up the Naga Regiment, as also Nagaland Armed Police. That I have not mentioned. Nagaland Armed Police I have not mentioned here. I missed it.
One thing is like a lot of his achievement and a lot of accolades and then awards and then post-retirements. A lot of things are being mentioned here. We may not be able to talk all of this. Now, for you as his son, most of his service, you were not with him, but like the longest time that you were with him or stayed together, like what was your fondest memory?
No, that is difficult to say that way, but because the time that you're correct, Rasan, that we didn't have much time with him, but during our holidays, the vacations, like when I was in Shillong school, it is 3 months, so Shillong was always 3 months winter vacation. So those are times we stayed with the family. In later years, when I was in college, it was a summer vacation, because Delhi and all this was summer vacation. So those are times when I stayed with my father. I learned a lot of things from him also. I learned fishing from him, picked up fishing. A favorite hobby of his, pastime of his, was fishing. That is one. The other thing which I didn't pick up from him was his cooking. He loved cooking.
Oh,
And meat. He's a total non-vegetarian, Pakka non-vegetarian. His cooking of pork, hoksa, very, very good.
you have talked about his courage and discipline and how active he was. But as a father, like what were some of the qualities that you really look up to?
No, I told you that he was very particular about discipline in us and honesty. Honesty and at the same time, our faith, trusting in God, especially in Jesus Christ. And he taught us that we must always believe, trust in God and believe and trust in Jesus. He believed in that and we are following in that footstep. Praise the Lord, I'll say. He took care of us and we've been fortunate to be able to bring up our children the way that we wanted them to be brought up, and all because of my father.
Last thing, recently the Arunachal government, they established a museum in memory of your father. So like if you can throw some light on that.
No, this is which I mentioned earlier. I said this is something which
Our government did not do.
Yeah, our state did not do. Our community itself has not done. Whoever's been doing so far in our side is Assam Rifles. They've been running the football tournaments, and retailing program on my father's birth anniversary. They always do that. They made a statue in Awantang and Ukhrul also. But Arunachal, they've gone much, much beyond. Can you see those two up there?
Yeah.
This is the Arunachal Ratna.
Yeah.
It's the highest award, civilian award that can be given by any state in the country.
Sure.
They've given him the Arunachal Ratna in 2021. After this, in spite of that, I thought that'd be the end. But they decided to have this museum. They contacted me earlier, and I've been with them throughout when they did the whole thing. Because the Chief Minister has been very active on this, Mr. Pema Khandu. I give him all credit for going through this. Because at his own initiative, he's been taking all this. So he's done a lot. And he's had a very good team with him to follow through. So some of them have been meeting me, talking to me, my wife. When I was in Kolkata last year for 4 months, they came to Calcutta also to meet me, to discuss and talk. All their plans, everything they came. We've been giving them, supplying them various items also, photos and this and that, all his items which are being put up in the museum also, we've put up. Just the other day, the signing of an agreement has taken place, where the whole upkeep and maintenance and upkeep of the museum has gone into the hands of the army now.
Oh.
Which is in a way very good.
Yeah,
for the safety and security of that place.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yes.
So I've sent a message to CM also. I said, I'm so happy. Congratulations that this has taken place. I said, your decision, I know, but it's a wise decision that you've taken. This is an honor which we never expected from them. But they've done a fantastic job. I think so if you get a chance, I recommend to you and to all our people to please go. Yes, I try to help our own people by taking a dance group from Kasamtang, the place where my father was born, from that locality, the Kasamtang people. I've taken them to dance, give a dance in Tawang, which was very appreciated by the Chief Minister and all people there. But after they went also, when they've gone back, I'm sure they must have been so happy with whatever they saw there.
I'm really sure that they were really enlightened.
I took one photographer, videographer also.
Ren.
Pamtenza. Yeah, Ren, Zaza.
Yeah, yes.
Zaza.
So a documentary will also come out?
I don't know
Video?
what they plan to do. I never asked him.
Oh, okay.
But he said he was doing something. I don't know.
Well, I've taken so much of your time, but it won't contain in just few hours. So thankful to you
No,
for
thank you
this
so
time,
much
and
also.
then
Thank you so much for coming
yes,
also.
thank you.